really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I have a good idea for you. That is to stop by Kilroy's downtown and join us on a Bud Light Blue Friday. Thank you all on what is a glorious afternoon here in central Indiana with whatever you're thinking about doing. I know it is a busy sectional final Friday night around the state of Indiana and certainly here in central Indiana. Bob Lovell joins us. Brought to you by Express Pro Tire and Auto. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll go over some of those really great matchups this evening around the state of Indiana with Bob, and also work in a great deal of Michigan and IU coming up tomorrow as the Hoosiers try to go 10-0 for the first time and remain unbeaten on the season, as to me what I view as a tremendous favorite over Michigan tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. Hey, by the way, if you missed any of the conversations regarding that game earlier this week, Mike Koenig, their 5-year now redshirt senior center, was on the show a couple of days ago and was awesome per usual. And Gary Danielson of CBS, he and Brad Nessler and Jenny Dell had the call for you from Bloomington coming up tomorrow, and he joined us with a breakdown of IU and what they look like as well. So again, that podcast, 1075thefan.com. Of course, a Bud Light Blue Friday here at Kilroy's downtown means you have your chance to win Bills Colts tickets throughout the course of the afternoon, football toss and otherwise, with Chris and Kevin over there staked out and good to go for you. We shall have a number of guests. Actually, I'll slide the camera over there. Go ahead and wave at him right now. Emax. You'll see him at basically all the Pacer games. He will, and it's not even him photobombing like Benedict Matherin, for example. It's Benedict Matherin photobombing him. And we've got a lot of guests coming. I know that the girls, I believe, are coming as well. I think Gina Glaros and Lindsay Monroe going to join us coming up a little bit later on. Like everybody up here knows, yeah, that is Emax. I saw him at Jelly Roll last night. There he is. Oh, my goodness. Our friend Jeff Rickard, my boss and our friend Jeff Rickard is here. We'll have to get him to mount up really quick before we get to the Gorman regarding this matchup and some news regarding the Colts today, too. Hey, Jeff, go ahead and mount up here really quick, and we'll talk at you before we get to the Gorman. The news from West 56th Street today from practice is no Michael Pittman Jr. with that back situation. We knew that he was laboring. We knew that his snaps and certainly his effectiveness had worn thin because of that back injury, and that is the case. He has been ruled out for Sunday's matchup against the Bills. More on that coming up a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see him on camera because that would take a lot of movement right there. Our friend Jeff Rickard is here with us. Hello, Jeff.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing today?
I strategically placed myself on the other side of the camera.
Well, I mean, look at
to
Emax.
save everybody.
Yeah, like get nothing crickets when I'm on here. We put Emax on the damn camera. And, oh, yeah, Emax.
Emax
yeah.
a star, though.
He is the star of all stars. What's up with you?
Just cruising past Kilroy's on a Friday afternoon. I thought, I'll go see my buddy John.
Yeah, we're down here. We're going to have a good time, giving away Bills, Colts tickets, all that, too.
200 South Meridian, basically.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
201, maybe, something like that.
I'm going to say South Meridian, Kilroy's downtown. Get it going. But, no, big weekend. No doubt about that, too. How about that game tomorrow? You ever thought we'd be talking about IU in this fashion? That's amazing.
I was just talking to an IU grad on the phone a few minutes ago, and everybody around there is so excited right now, as they should be.
They should be.
You got guys like Joel Klatt talking them up, and they're going to make, hopefully, they – look, this is the thing I said to my buddy. I said, his name is also Jeff. I said, Jeff, just don't look too far ahead. Let's just take care of Michigan, right?
Well, and I'm not even so much worried about that as I've been telling everybody. Soak it all up right now. Make sure you take advantage of every moment, because don't worry about the future.
Yes,
don't worry about
now.
Well, what's going to happen in the future? Is he going to stay around? What's the team going to look like? Are they going to lose? It doesn't matter. Soak up the moment right now, because in the landscape of college athletics, for the most part, these moments can be fleeting. So, yeah, you got to soak it up while you can. And it's good for IU football fans that have lived the life of so much losing and still gone to games, Jeff, and still, been season ticket holders, been dedicated fans. It's cool to see them soak this up, too.
I just like Cignetti, who's like, yeah, all I do is win. Google me.
Yeah.
I was in at that moment.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was completely in.
And he has backed up absolutely everything.
But you know what he did that was interesting?
What's
I know
that?
you guys have talked about it, but one of the things you have to do to have a successful football program is you build culture, right?
Yeah.
So how do you build culture quickly? He brought a dozen of his best guys from James Madison University, probably a lot of guys who belonged on big-time rosters somewhere around the country but were overlooked for whatever reason. So he brings those guys over here, gets some transfers to come in, keeps the existing folks that he thinks can help his football team, and now you've got enough people there in the locker room that understand him, his culture, what he wants, what he's looking for. The people he brought in are going to understand that, and that is shared with the existing Indiana guys. And now you got a good plan and a good coach and people that can execute. You're undefeated.
And I've said this all along, that this culture, cohesion, you had that from the gate. You had that from the opener, and they've really not had any burps. I mean, you could argue that maybe getting down 10-0 at Michigan State was, but to reel off 47 unanswered is unheard of.
The 47 made up for the 10 you gave up.
Unheard of. Michigan State.
We've seen people score 47 points in Indiana football games before.
Yeah, oh yeah. But
just not Indiana.
I don't even know, unless it's like Wisconsin at Camp Randall years ago, if it's ever gone that consecutively like that. Right. That's what was so amazing.
But just don't, to your point, keep it in the moment. Yeah. I know you got to get to Gorman. Don't look ahead to Ohio State. Just take care of business with Michigan.
Do that.
That's all you got to worry about.
That's Jeff Rickard right there, everybody. Good to see you, Jeff. Thanks for coming down. Jeff Rickard's our boss at The Fan, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. He staked out with us today on a Bud Light Blue Friday. We have your chance at Bills Colts tickets. We mentioned the Gorman's going to join me coming up in a minute. Bob Lovell, bottom of the hour, will be with us. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio, excited that Mike re-upped with ESPN last week. He's going to be good to go for another year. Contractually, he joins us at 4. And the voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as we are live down at Kilroy's. Again, downtown, you can join us on this Bud Light Blue Friday. A reminder, Michael Pittman Jr. ruled out for Sunday. Now, you can look at this a couple of different ways because there are some injury issues that the Bills are dealing with as well. But I do look at them, and the last 3 have put up 30-plus. And although people would suggest at times, especially with the wide receivers, which is the reason they felt compelled to go out and get Cooper, that they have had injuries, they've had to deal with that, but they've still recently put up some numbers, getting past Miami last week by 3, but still scoring, and that's the one thing, how the Colts defensively can handle what they have coming up on Sunday. We will talk about that in a load, certainly throughout the course of the afternoon. Now, I did want to remind you of this as well, and let me know, James, and the Gorman is ready to go here, but 5:30 is the bail time. Now, I will be here 5:30 to 6:30 for the Colts happy hour, but because of the Pacer pregame and the Pacers on the road in Charlotte later on tonight, we will go. This show will get 30 minutes of it taxed. So we will start Colts happy hour at 5:30 today. And, oh, by the way, the Pacers in action coming up later on tonight against the Hornets. I would suggest the Pacers have looked more like it recently. I know there were struggles with a zone, and I know that somebody probably should go through the whole zone buster status with that group again. But all in all, being able to close that game out in the fashion in which they did on Wednesday night at home against Orlando, regardless of the personnel that the Magic had out there, and then certainly going back to Monday night, the way they closed, and really the way they played the entirety of the game, it is starting to look more and more as we expected. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he'll be with us. I start at 9 a.m., the ride to kick off from the Bullseye Event Center. Then I go up and hang out with Joe Wrights, with Casey Valier, and my friend the Gorman in Touchdown Town from 10 until noon. That's the Colts pregame huddle coming up on Sunday before the Bills and the Colts game. And the Gorman's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hello, Gorman. How are you?
Buddy, you also forgot about my around 9:30 quick hit with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
As you're kind of moseying over there, we're talking and walking before the pregame show. So that's the one you don't want to miss, John. You want all the answers. It's at 9:30 to 10 a.m. window on Sunday.
You got that right with the Gourmet. Let's start right here. The news of the day was Michael Pittman Jr., who hasn't practiced this week. We have seen the snaps shrink for him and obviously the production because of that back situation. And clearly this week enough was enough, and they're going to shut him down for a minute.
How about that? Yeah, it's going to look, next man up mentality. He won't be down for long. That's the biggest dog in the locker room, and I mean that with great respect when you're a dog like that. He's coming out and playing when he shouldn't play. He's got the back issue that's been bothering him forever and a day, but he's playing through it, and this week it's not going to happen. Hey, Alec Pierce. Hey, A.D. Mitchell. Hey, Kylan Granson. Hey, Ogletree. Hey, those guys are going to get mixed in the mix a little bit. And as far as I'm concerned, they're going to have a good output. I mean, Michael Pittman on the field obviously takes away one of the best top one or two defenders on the defense that they're playing. But, hey, this one's going to be a little bit fun because I know it's going to be a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor. I hope that it is as far as I'm concerned. But it's going to be fun watching Joe throw this thing around. Let's have that coming out party again for Alec Pierce like we did early in the year. And how about A.D. Mitchell, maybe a welcome to the NFL moment on Sunday against the Bills, John. They're tough. Don't forget, they got Von Miller lurking on the other side of the football.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think about what they have pulling the trigger offensively with Josh Allen, who, I mean, you could look at Lamar Jackson last night, what he did, obviously at the top of the MVP watch list. But Josh Allen has had that type of season as well, and we saw that certainly so far, and you're going to witness that as a Colts fan coming up on Sunday.
Hey, I like it. Go ahead, Josh. You want to prove you're one of the best in the league for about 7 years? He can, but he's coming into an environment that is about winning down there, and it starts now. If the playoff push is going to start, you started here. And, John, you and I like to talk about these silly trap games. The NFL players say, no, there's no trap games. There's nothing like that. You don't think they're overlooking this Sunday to get ready for the following Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills, one of the biggest matchups of the year? That's what I'm saying. We're catching them at a good time right now. And they had a dogfight last week against the Miami Dolphins, pulled it out late for a 3-point lead. So I'm just saying this team has been pretty damn good at 7-2, but they're not dominant. They're not one of those teams. And, again, hey, let's not forget, John, 2021, the last time they played. Don't forget Jonathan Taylor, 32 carries, 185 yards, 5 touchdowns. So let's gouge them out. I don't know if you remember that, but Carson Wentz threw for about 109 yards that game, and Jonathan Taylor ran for 185, and he ended up blowing out the Bills. So hopefully they're overlooking this one, and we get to Josh Allen and the boys, and Joe Flacco can hit some players downfield. But, John, I sound ad nauseum here. I'll say it again. Need more than 13, 15, 18 carries out of Jonathan Taylor. I want to see him in that mid-20 range if they can and get the Colts offense running. And most important thing is chew up the clock. I'm sick of giving up time of possession, overwhelmingly, it seems like, for the majority of the year for this Colts team.
You think, and the Gourmet joins us, Colts pregame huddle, again, 10 a.m. touchdown town coming up on Sunday morning in front of the Bills and the Colts, and that week number 10 action. So you think that Shane Steichen keeps him in the game when it's important to, or does he yank him out and put in Trey Sermon? I mean, do we not have to, if you're going to put a little bit more focus on him, can you have the coach maybe put a little bit more importance and a little bit more focus on him as well? Can that work?
Well, I don't know. These guys, they go out of the game for a player or two here and there. What was Jonathan Taylor?
That was a hell of a bit of timing right there is what it was. Good job.
I know what you're saying, but hey, we're looking for the feature back to get back to what he does, and it starts this weekend. John, I don't know what to say. I'm fired up, man. I mean, this is one where the Colts got to get it. They're still in the mix. They still have, believe it or not, a 30-some-odd% chance of making the playoffs. And, we get that 9-win and, oh, my gosh, 10-win total sometime. It's going to take a great deal of luck. It's going to take these guys turning around offensively. It's going to take the defense stepping up. But if they're going to make a push over these last 8 games, and try to get to that 6-2 mark, 5-3 mark, where you're sniffing with the playoffs, it's got to start at home against good teams. That's why this one is so stinking important. And the Colts fans are such a huge part of this thing. Let's not get blown. Let's not forget that we're the home team is what I'm preaching to the faithful there at Lucas Oil Stadium. Let's make it the toughest place that this stinking guy has been known to play this weekend. We got a bit of rain coming in the morning there, so I'm sure Irsay will shut up the dome down there. He'll make it a dome-like environment, but this is the one where you got to knock him in the face and say, hey, we ain't going anywhere. We're going to be a laughing stock of sorts if we drop this one, John, and, still talk about, hey, this team still has a shot to make the playoffs. I don't want to go into Monday doing that whole deal.
It's the Gorman here, the Colts pregame huddle coming up on Sunday. Gorman's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I kind of look at a couple of different things regarding this matchup, and certainly one is the fact that Anthony Richardson remains on the bench, and we were told last week that maybe some situational football would allow him to be out there to use his wheels, and I'm assuming that's when you get closer and closer to the goal line, and that did not present itself on Sunday night in Minneapolis. Are you looking for, again, that type of usage, that type of opportunity from Richardson if the moment calls for it Sunday against the Bills, Gorman?
I just go back to last week's press conference when Shane Steichen was asked about that, using number 5 in different situations, and he gave a smirk on his face. And, John, I'm no football guru. Either are you. It's pretty easy. If you've got the best player, athletically on the field who happens to go at about 6'4", 250 some odd pounds, and he can scoot, get the ball in his stinking hands. It's all hands on deck right now. If they are truly about win now, John, win now, the Colts. Well, win now and use Anthony Richardson to your advantage. Do those deep red zone things, like you're saying, possible direct snap to him. Who knows what they're going to come up with down there? But I think you absolutely have to put him on the field for nothing more than a distraction for the defense. Look left, but we're going right type of thing. But I was shocked. I really did think he'd be in some offensive setups, some offensive some playbooks. Or rather play gaming against the opposition in Minnesota. I really did think that he would get in there and get his hands on the ball several times. And hopefully, they find something that works with this defense that the Buffalo Bills are presenting that puts Anthony in that position. But, John, if they are going to make the run, bro, you got to have number 5 on the field at some point during the year. Again, he's one of the best players athletically on both sides of the sidelines in the stadium, for that matter. You got to use him, John, right?
All right, so here's the other thing, too. We mentioned that Michael Pittman Jr. has already been ruled out for that game coming up on Sunday. So how does that now magnify the situation with A.D. Mitchell and maybe with a lot that went wrong offensively, let's just say, or didn't go right or was on a negative on Sunday night in Minneapolis? He had his best catch and one of the better catches the Colts have had this season. Is this a guy that you're going to focus in on to hopefully pick up a little bit of that offensive slack with Pittman out of the game?
Absolutely I am. And don't rule out Ashton Doolin, the quiet one. He's a speed merchant, John. He's a tough guy. He's a great special teams player, but he can flat out fly. He's an over-the-top guy like Alec Pierce has been. But the answer to your question is absolutely. We said it. We're waiting for that A.D. Mitchell breakout NFL moment. And hopefully it's this weekend where he gets some words up where 8, 9, 10, 11 catches for 100-plus yards. He's allowed to scoot a little bit, give him the ball in space, let him go. But all hands on deck because Michael Pittman, he's the mayor of that wide receiver room. And, John, he hasn't had the greatest output compared to seasons prior. But, again, he's been, dealing with that tough back situation. I think Flacco knows, hey, my bread and butter is going to be with Josh Downs. I'm going to be chipping away with finding number 1 on the field. But, hell, he's got to find Pierce. He's got to find A.D. Mitchell, Ashton Doolin included. It's going to be fun. I think, I said it the other day, John, I hope this team runs. For every 3 plays that they run, I hope 2 of them are a run against this Buffalo Bills defense. And, on the opposite side, what you're going to get from the Buffalo Bills. They're going to throw the ball every 2 out of 3 times, if not more. Plus, they're not afraid to throw it down by the goal line. So it's going to be a fun one. But I think the Colts are going to get ready for this one because it's go time. We talk about must-wins and have fun with it, John. But if you really want to be in control of the situation from here on out, get yourself back to 500 with a home win against one of the better teams in the NFL. I'm not counting these boys out.
I would hold my breath about running it 2 of every 3 times with Shane Steichen. I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you on that. I don't think there's any way he can do that. None.
No, understood. But I'm saying the recipe has been there before. When you run a guy 32 times for 185 yards and 5 touchdowns, it's hard not to remember those games. Shane Steichen wasn't on the sideline for that. But the matchup offensively, with the Bills defensively, I think it will be there. And I just think for this offense, John, that's been stalwart here and there, had some fireworks, but I think the best thing that they can do is find balance and ride the stinking horse, not trying to go for 3rd and 12s down the right side and make a circus catch from A.D. Mitchell or Alex Pierce. Ride that horse 28, and I'll tell you what, his ankle's feeling good. He's ready to go. He talked about it this week in the locker room. He's like, it's hard not to remember that game and the success that I had up there. So I want him to gouge him again for another 150 yards. He does that. That means we're controlling the clock and controlling the game, and we don't have to put all of our chips in on Joe Flacco, to be perfect, a 12 for 12 fourth type of a fourth quarter thing. So JT all day. That's what I'm preaching.
Did you get excited last night when you watched a couple of teams put up some numbers, offensively speaking? You get all excited about that?
Oh, dancing, getting up, had the boxer shorts on, going outside, throwing up a couple of bottle rockets. Yeah, I mean, well, it wasn't my team, but, yeah, I was excited. Jamar Chase and that was fun. Let's get in the mix there. Let's try and match up with one of those guys at the end of the year and see what we could come up with. Yeah, but, no, that was fun. That was good football.
All right, Gorman, me and you before 10, and then me and you and others after 10 on Sunday, correct?
Yeah, I love it. It's a party. It starts early and it goes, but I'm a little ticked off at some of your listeners, John. Last week, as you know, we talked. I've been having problems with I've had one of the worst thefts going on in the city of Indianapolis is my bird feeders are getting heisted every day by a family of squirrels, about half a dozen to a dozen squirrels each day. And your listener said, hey, Gorman, just go ahead and throw some cayenne pepper in there. Well, let me tell you something what that does. It does nothing, okay? It does absolutely nothing other than keep away some of the birds that I like. These guys came over there and said, thanks, we appreciate the seasoning, and continued to clean me out, John. I'm headed over to Wally's World here in a minute to get another 50-pound bag. So I'm going strike one with your listeners. I need some more help on this. Let's keep the squirrels out of the feeders, guys, and it ain't with cayenne pepper. It ain't working.
I'll get with Pat Sullivan and Denny Smith tomorrow morning, and I'll find out at the Home and Garden Show exactly what you should be dealing with and tell them exactly the failures you had with cayenne pepper. Okay?
I did. I'm just telling you. I'm not going to trap these guys. I'm not going to hurt them. I'm not going to shoot them or anything like that. I just want them to stay on their side of the street. There's got to be some sort of method. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's a scarecrow or something I put in the yard, John. I don't know.
Yeah, I think squirrels pretty much do. I forget the reason why they're called squirrels. They're squirrely. They just do whatever they want. I think they just do whatever they want. I think they'd be called something else if otherwise. All right, a couple of different times on Sunday, buddy. We'll get it going.
Let's do it, John. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
You got it. Gorman right there on this Friday, Bud Light Blue Friday, live downtown at Kilroy's. Bills, Colts tickets to give away. I did want to remind you of this as well. It is ongoing. I have heard from Dan Moyer, and I have heard from Lauren with your reaction, and rightly so, because this week's Week 10 Pick'em, like yesterday with what we did, you can enter online at MoyerFineJewelers.com/JMV to win your opportunity. Winner take all, a $1,000 gift certificate courtesy of Moyer Fine Jewelers. You can still sign up for that right now. Again, log on MoyerFineJewelers.com/JMV to enter for that gift certificate. $1,000 for the winner take all Week 10 correct or the best pick 'em. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Express Pro Tire and Auto will bring Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk to you. Sectional finals around the state of Indiana. College football coming up tomorrow with IU and Michigan. That and more with Bob. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio after 4, and the voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer, in the 5 o'clock hour. We are downtown at Kilroy's. It is a Bud Light Blue Friday on what is a fantastic, a glorious, in fact, afternoon of November here in central Indiana. Do not go anywhere. The stream, the app, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. Rocking there as well with whatever you want to do. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Back with you next.
Bugs. Any questions? 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Bud Light, Blue Friday, Kilroy's downtown. We'd love to see you. Bills Colts tickets we do have to give away. Thanks to our friends at Zinc for that. Our friends here at Kilroy's downtown. You got plenty of time to hustle ass down here and join us. Bob Lovell is going to join us coming up in just a minute. Meantime, I think Daryl has something on a solution for the Gorman Squirrel issue right here. Daryl, go ahead.
How you doing, John?
Great. Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, tell him to get some torpedo baffles to put around that feeder, and then he should set up another feeder station just for the squirrels away from the tree.
You got it. Well, I'll set him up with that information right here, man. And he'll go to work. Hey, by the way, AC/DC tomorrow night, right, on the JMV takeover, correct?
No, because I'll be on a plane to Florida for a wedding.
Oh, hell, no Daryl tomorrow. All right, well, hey, safe travels, man. We'll catch you when you get back.
All right, brother. You have a good weekend.
It's our good friend Daryl right there, live at Kilroy's. We are downtown on a Bud Light Blue Friday and on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, brought to you every Friday by the 13 Central Indiana Joe Childers Run Express Pro Tire and Auto locations. He's on the Indiana, or I should say the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from Indiana Sports Talk. It is Bob Lovell. Hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm great, John. How are you?
Great, buddy. Big sectional Friday night for you.
Championship Friday, John. Big, clearly a big night. One of the biggest nights of the entire year because winning a sectional in football is extremely hard to do.
You got that right. Now, I want to start right here. You got 6A, number one, and just we talked about this Renaissance season, incredible season, and the numbers they're stacking up offensively. 10-0, LN, 6-3, Cathedral. That is a humdinger of a sectional final tonight, Bob.
Well, they're all good, John, but that one just really kind of jumps out at you as you talk about the story of Lawrence North and what they've done and how Pat Mallory has brought this team along. They've had success before, but not to this extent. And so, they're explosive offensively. Cathedral has gotten better and better each week. They had great graduation losses. Danny O'Neill, their quarterback, gone, graduating, and so had to retool it. And so two teams doing what you want to do at this time of year, playing the best football they're playing. So that's a great way to start to look at these games.
How about we mudsock this thing up in Hamilton County?
Absolutely.
With Hamilton Southeastern and Fischer's coming up later on tonight. What are we thinking, Bob?
I don't know. I just know what a neat game. What an absolutely neat championship game to have both of them playing one another. And, every time they play at schools, it's a tremendous rivalry. And this is not only the rivalry, but obviously you're playing for a championship and a chance to advance and play more football. So I find it hard to believe there's a better game than that. I mean, I understand Cathedral, obviously, and Lawrence North, great game, but emotion-wise and all of the other elements, that may be the best game going on tonight.
So you got 6-4 Center Grove, 6-3 Franklin Central, and that 6-3 with FC, I think, is because didn't that game during the whole hurricane remnants, I think it got postponed and never made up with FC and Roncalli, right? Is that why?
Right. Yeah. They weren't able to get that done. And Franklin Central, John, you talk about a team that's improving, kind of a, I wouldn't say slow start, but they have gotten better. Center Grove, as we know, plays a great schedule. I just think this is a great matchup of two teams that play a lot alike. They're very explosive on both sides, and I think that's a fun matchup coming up, no question at all.
It's Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk tonight. Certainly you can hear him across the state of Indiana, the Express Pro Tire and Auto. He is brought to us, to you, by us, from them every Friday right here on The Fan. All right, your Quakes tonight, 7-2 Decatur Central, 9-1 Plainfield. We got a little something right there?
Yeah, I mean, Decatur beat the Quakes earlier in the year. It's championship time, conference rematch, if you will. Two really good football teams. I think you know where my loyalty is.
Sure.
But, I think it's a tremendous game. I just think Tyler Bless has done a fantastic job with his team, and Coach Enright has done a similarly good job to get their teams here. They've played good schedules. They've gotten better and better. So what's not to like about this matchup?
I want to go to 4A, 10-1 Martinsville. They get Greenwood tonight. Chittard and Roncalli, 8-2 and 6-4. Also for a sectional crown this evening, Bob.
I love the Chittard Roncalli game. Just what's not to like, John? Big time rivalry. Both teams playing great football. It's at Roncalli on the south side. Everybody knows that. So that's a fantastic matchup. It really is. Martinsville Greenwood. How about Greenwood getting into the championship game? That's a team you talk about turning your team around, turning your season around. They've done a great job to get to that point. And Martinsville has had that magical run after getting down deep early in the year at halftime by 20-plus points. And so two teams that are maximizing the opportunities they have. It's a Martinsville team that offensively has been very, very difficult to control lately. So should be a lot of fun.
Shout out with Bob Lovell going out of the area. Let's go down to the Pocket City, or at least the general vicinity of Vanderburgh County, of Warwick County, of Spencer County, and Santa Claus, Indiana included here. You've got 1v2, right? Memorial at 11-0, Heritage Hills at 10-1. That is the class without question, is it not, of the sectional finals in 3A?
I think you're right. I think acknowledged by almost everybody as the number one game. I mean, clearly you have 1 and 2. Memorial has been ranked number one all year long. Heritage Hills, Chet Goldsberry is a tremendous kid, has had fantastic numbers. This is just I have no idea who wins this one, John. I just know that it's a fantastic game, two teams that are playing well, and I think clearly whomever is able to come out of that has a great shot to move in and possibly win a championship.
Bob, you are a sports historian, without question, a football historian around here for decades. And I don't think I've yet asked you regarding IU and, searching for now 10-0, being 9-0 in the season, what you think about them, knowing what you have known. And actually, I mean, obviously you got history because you remember the times when they were as this good in the late 60s. How amazing has this run with Curt Cignetti been for the Hoosier football program this season compared to what you know about this program over decades?
I'm not sure amazing it's an appropriate word, but I'm not sure it does justice to what they've been able to accomplish. It's I think all of us have looked at IU's football program as one where it's a place you can't win, and clearly that's not the case. I'm just incredibly amazed at what Coach Cignetti's been able to do in a short amount of time. It's a brand new world out there in terms of transfers and NIL and redoing rosters. And I think we can appreciate when you look at what your alma mater, Indiana State, did last year with Josh Schertz and revitalizing and remaking that program in a year. Bring in a coach who's had success at a lower level. Because having coached at that so-called lower level, there are tremendous coaches, ball and basketball. If you can win at the Division II level, you can probably win at the Division I level. If you can win at the lower level of Division I, he has a blueprint. He has a history, and people overlook that, and they get caught up in the labels. And so brought in some kids from James Madison. Clearly they've been great. He might be the master of utilizing the portal. He may understand how to use the portal better than anybody in the country, quite frankly, and the results have been tremendous. And so, 2 more, baby. They just went 2 more. And you get started with Michigan tomorrow and keep going. And so I think it's tremendous. It's great for all of us, John, all sports fans in our state. It's great when IU and Purdue are having success. And the success that IU's having right now makes it even better. And so what's not to like?
Getting the right quarterback from the portal would seem to be rather important too, Bob, would it not? So, yes,
no, I don't think
getting the right guy, yes, no doubt.
John, we know here in Indianapolis better than any place that the quarterback in football is the most significant person in the program. And if you don't have the right one, you're looking for the right one. And if you have the right one, make sure he's healthy. And if you get that, now you've got a chance. You have an absolute chance if you have a healthy and talented quarterback. And so, again, I just hope they're able to keep it going.
Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk every Friday, brought to you by Express Pro Tire and Auto, the 13th Central Indiana Joe Childers on locations. He's with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Have a great couple of days talking up Indiana sports, and we'll catch you again next Friday for the regional finals, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, John, as always.
Bob Lovell on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Look who is here.
Well, good afternoon,
Lindsay
everyone.
Monroe of Channel 13 does join us inside the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You can say hello to her right there.
Hey,
say
everybody.
hello to my little friend.
Hello.
Right there. How we doing?
So good. I just checked in with Gina as well. I was giving her a heads up on parking, the situation. We've got the Monumental Marathon in downtown Indy.
Oh, do we?
So that's probably why tomorrow morning. So I think that's why there's a lot of
What the hell time does that end?
It starts at 8.
Does it? So it's over
and it goes
by
all the way
noon.
up to Broad Ripple and back. I think they cut it off at like 5 hours, probably.
Okay, good.
So just a heads up for downtown drivers that there's going to be some lane restrictions, road closures,
Glarus
all the
is
above.
late for everything anyway.
She is.
Is she ever on time for anything?
You have to ask her about when we went to the IU game last week. We had a very, Josh is very specific with his plans. We're going to dinner at this time. We have to leave at this time. We have to be there at this time. She was 20 minutes late for the pickup to meet us.
You got to leave her ass, don't
and so
you?
Josh was so flustered.
You just said mad. I like the mad part. You mad.
He would,
He's mad.
He's very easygoing, and I know she's listening to this, so he actually canceled the dinner plans that we had, and he's like, we're gonna do this because it's much quicker, that we can get in and out, the parking situation at Kirkwood's, blah blah blah. So we did have to rework that, but yes, she is consistently late. But so am I. I don't have any room to talk. I'm always late.
But I think you're earlier. Your late is earlier than her late.
Correct.
Her late is freaking late. I think, isn't
she's
it?
show up halfway, after the party has already started.
Was she ever late doing a newscast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that only happened when I saw one time, and then it was like complete foobar when it happened too. So, but it happened. Which was actually kind of funny. The foobar was pretty funny, to be honest.
we now have things in place. So I went through a little anchor training this past week.
Oh, yeah.
So I know how to log into,
right.
the teleprompter. I know how to do all that now. Worst case scenario, we are not going to bomb on air.
That little remote thing in your hand
the little
right
hand
there.
scroller.
You're going to need, one of these days, you guys are going to need like 5 more hands to do all the stuff you're going to have
Just
to
in
do
case
on
there
your
is
own.
a foot pedal, too, so you can do the foot.
Yeah.
And speaking of
There she is.
late arrival.
Rolling late right there is Gina Glarus. I'll tell you what, guys, we'll take a break and come back. Lindsay and Gina are in the house on a Bud Light Blue Friday downtown at Kilroy's. We've got Bills Colts tickets to give away. We got a busy show, including Mike Wells of ESPN Radio at the top of the hour. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, after 5. Just getting started. We would love to see you downtown. Kilroy's the location on a Bud Light Blue Friday. My advice, join us here. And if you give me some bullcrap type of excuse, make sure you keep us dialed in. Stream the app, HD Radio. That is the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
And the beat goes on, yeah. And the beat goes on.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Bud Light Blue Friday, Kilroy's downtown. Bills, Colts tickets to give away. This sounds like nothing but the 90s for the JMV takeover coming up tomorrow night, 6 until midnight. We'll have to have the girls give me a 90s song to play tomorrow night. We're doing 90s, a lot of 90s tomorrow night.
Okay.
Oh, on it.
Yeah.
We love I love 90s.
Like
90s
what?
country?
Yeah, I guess.
Like
Kinda.
Any George
Like
Strait, any
Friends in
Alan
Low Places?
Jackson, any Garth
Blame
Brooks.
it on my
Yeah.
roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair.
So good.
I've got
and also like punk, 90s.
Punk?
Like Nirvana. I guess that's not punk. I guess
no.
what is that, metal?
I love Third Eye Blind.
How about Bloodhound
Stroke
Gang?
9.
Bloodhound Gang.
Is that
Remember
90s?
that song?
That's not 90s.
Me and you are just nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do it on the Discovery Channel.
Yes.
Is that a one-hit wonder?
No, I think they did a couple.
That was
They
90s.
did The Roof is on Fire, We Don't Need No Water. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the Bloodhound Gang.
What about the Macarena? Is that 90s?
That gets requested too. That's always there's Michelle Kiefer in the house. Hey, by the
She's
way,
just a ray of sunshine.
isn't she not? We'll get back to them in just a second. Quick update on the college hoop tonight. Ball State Franklin. That's actually going to go on here, I think, at 5 o'clock today. Xavier and IU Indy. Paul Casaro's squad's over in Cincinnati to take on Xavier. Austin P. and Butler tonight at 6:30 from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Boilermakers, the 14th ranked Purdue at home against Northern Kentucky tonight at 7 o'clock. In college hoop around Central Indiana. Lindsay and Gina's here. Gina's late, fashionably late is what
Great
she would
to
like
see
to
you
call
guys.
it.
Better late than never. But I think you just walked in right before me, didn't you?
I was here a whole block ahead of you.
Yeah. You're significantly late. She was a little late.
Well, I am 15 minutes north.
That's true.
More northern.
More north than
more north
me.
than Lindsay.
So that's
all right.
that's
We're here though. We're ready.
You are here.
Ready to partay,
So
baby.
wait, hey, by the way, you were very big in Joe Flacco, Gina, going in as a starter.
I
wondered what you were thinking last Sunday night.
I know,
when
that's
it was
kind of what I get,
Sputtersville.
right? I was like, oh, Joe Flacco, he's the answer. And hold my tongue, bite my tongue.
It was tough. It was tough for him on Sunday night. That was a tough watch, wasn't it?
Well, just so we're clear, this is why I'm very non-committal. This is why I have commitment issues, because you go in all in.
Doing radio like this can make you look like a horse's ass pretty quick. I didn't know that. Believe me.
You act like a speaker of experience over there,
I got about 20 years worth of horse's ass going on right here. All the time. There's no doubt about it.
I know. I always think about that, like when I was, on the newscast with you and we'd be talking about the forecast and then we would leave the station and then the rest of the day I'm like, how did I toss that to Lindsay? I feel like I was wrong in what I said. Well, when I was watching the game play out, I was like, what did I say? I'm like, no, I was wrong.
You were actually
That's okay.
you were pretty firm in wanting that change.
And I still am.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
still
you and
am,
the
for the
Colts, or the
record.
Colts for that matter too. Colts trying to figure out anyway, I think, to play anybody else but him.
Everybody is. Right?
Yeah, and I know that we're going to talk more about the Colts like for the duration of the show, but like my biggest question I think for the rest of the season is, what are some of the most positive things that fans can focus on? Because it's very easy to get into that negative mindset where you're like, well, I'm not even going to watch them anymore. I'm going to write them off. I'm over it. We'll just wait. Like, I really want there to be some positive or like some players who are really standing out. It's like we need something to root for, even if we don't know if the overall team's going to succeed. I want to know when I tune in to watch the team on Sunday, what can I root for and be confident in?
At this point, it's just entertainment.
Well, I mean, I guess you can say they're still in it if you want to say they're in it, but I think you can look at them and go, are they really in it? Or are they just in it because it's this time of year? So I don't know.
No, I mean,
there's
that's
not
a good-
a lot
that's
to
a good
really.
way of
There's not a
looking at
lot
it.
to proverbially hang your hat on right here. I don't think regarding that. Hey, by the way, too, a couple of notes within the AFC South. It looked like Trevor Lawrence is going to play against the Vikings coming up this weekend. Will Levis back under center for Mason Rudolph. He is healthy now down in Tennessee for the Titans. And again, in case you missed this earlier today, no Michael Pittman Jr. for the Colts coming up on Sunday. His back situation, you could see, was deteriorating so much to where he wasn't getting getting the snaps, the volume, and certainly not the production. So they have shut him down this week. He will not play. Gina and Lindsay on the other side. You guys hanging?
Oh, absolutely.
We got to get Glaros a drink over there, I think, or something
You want
like
to do,
that.
what do we want to do? The
When in Kilroy's, you do a Long Island.
All right, then.
Pitcher.
We'll do that.
And they put fruit in it.
We'll set you up with that on a Bud Light. That's what we're doing right here. Bud Light Blue Friday, Colts and Bills tickets we have to give away for you as well. Thank you, our friends from Zinc. We'll take a break and come back with the ladies and Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. That's next. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Talk about your Psalms. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, thank you for joining us. We are downtown. Kilroy's downtown. It is a Bud Light Blue Friday. Lindsay Monroe, Gina Galeros with us. Ladies, how we doing?
Doing well. Great to see you. This place is
crazy.
Everybody in their blue, ready to go.
I'm going to let Mike Wells get a taste of this on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Mike, can you take it from here?
Mine. Man, it's high five. I'm trying to think. Is it I can't wait another minute?
It is, buddy. You like a little high five on this Friday right there, don't you? I can't wait another minute. I think we're doing a lot of 90s tomorrow night. So, yeah, that's along with the kissing game right up there with the high five, top of the catalog right there.
Hey, ladies, guess what? John's favorite song was from High Five, even though y'all were not born when this song came out, when this group was out.
I don't even have a guess.
The song was called The Kissing Game. John would turn on, would put the CD on and roam around with his mullet, playing it loud, hoping any girl would kiss him.
Man,
How does the song go?
Hey, James, see if you can get the kissing game back there to play over the top of us. I know that's probably going to foosball the works here, but if it doesn't, go ahead. If it does, go ahead as well. But yeah, listen, I was looking for any port in a storm back in the day, Mike. You know what I mean? Hey, listen.
Oh.
Let me tell you this. And then you add the fact that I am Rhythm Nation. Can you imagine me singing this song? Can you imagine? I was having to turn it away back then, Mike. I was having to turn it away.
Did you have a go-to move back in the 80s?
Prayer.
Oh, she said the 80s. Oh, my God.
I just kind of roll out in Grape Smugglers and say, let's just all let this happen naturally. And then they called the cops. No, so yeah, that's what happened normally. That's what happened. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Hey, again, congratulations. I don't know if the ladies know this or not, with that new deal with ESPN Radio last week, bud.
No.
Listen, I appreciate it. Got the new contract, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it on the show. I got elected to the Brownsburg School Board again for another 4-year term.
Did you really? Holy crap.
Congratulations.
Why do you want to do that? That's insane.
I am all about...
He's a man for the people. That's why.
Yes, I am. I love my community in Brownsburg. I love the students, and I love being here for them. I mean, listen, if I'm going to teach journalism at IU, I might as well be on the school board in Brownsburg and go all in. So, no, it has been a great, great week. Has had a little stiffer competition this time, but still was able to pull it out in the election.
Now, did you did you have yard signs over there in Brownsburg?
Listen, Jay, I not only did I have I had several hundred yard signs in Brownsburg. I had the big signs around Brownsburg too, with my big ass name on there. Around Brownsburg, I went all in on this.
And did you go door to door and sing to people, hoping to get their?
Did you go canvassing?
No, door to door. Just a lot of talking and running my mouth, just like I do on here with you lovely ladies on Friday.
Hey, this does not mean everybody is, and certainly not you, because I know you of a man with our friendship, certainly of integrity. But where I come from, most people on the scoreboard were some of the biggest lazy asses of all time. Seriously.
Yeah, no.
But I know that's not you. I'm serious.
He's changing the narrative. He's bringing the energy.
And it was all about, hey, we got to get this coach fired. We got to do this. And I'm glad you're not. I'm glad you're not like that, man. I'm glad you're good for the school board, because way too many people want to do it because they have an axe to grind. At least where I'm from, and you know, I'm from where the hillbillies are from, so that's a big difference too. But that's what I knew it to be, oftentimes.
Not at all, man. But hey, it would be great if the week ended good for the Colts. Found a way to get a dub, and actually, you know what? Found a way for this offense to score some damn points. That's what the Colts need. They got to find a way to get some damn points offensively because this offense is straight boo-boo right now.
Well, Gina Glaros, Mike, was right here, and she was very outspoken about wanting to see Joe Flacco, and then probably was very outspoken while she was by herself watching the game on Sunday night about how they should bench Flacco. So, yes, that did not work out as advertised whatsoever on Sunday night, did it?
No. Hey, Gina, you gotta make up your mind, baby. You can't be going back and forth now. You're either all in or you all out.
I know. You're right. I still think we need Flacco. I mean, even if that was ugly, we need to. I'm staying with my pick of Flacco. Give it another week. But we got to talk about, how soon Richardson could make a return.
It was my understanding, not this season.
No, hey, get Anthony Richardson back on the football field.
You want to see him back?
Yeah, I want to see him back because it's pointless. The team's not going to the playoffs, so you might as well just let the kid go out there and play and go and see if he can turn what was a travesty in tapping out 2 weeks ago to make something out of this season and answer any questions that the doubters have about his playing ability.
I will tell you this. I don't know, Mike. It's such an oddity to me. How in the world you go, let's just say, for example, hypothetically, they go the rest of the season with Flacco. And then, okay, well, we've let Richardson watch. Now we're going to reinstall him as the quarterback of the future. How will that play? How will that sell for a moment in the offseason with Colts fans? It won't. It won't whatsoever. So the way that they're handling this, the way they're playing it, is going to be so weird if they at all have any intentions of ever seeing this guy again.
The reality is, you won't have to wait to the offseason for the fan base to be turned off with this franchise. If they're not winning or they're just stumbling and bumbling along, and Joe Flacco is still the quarterback, they'll go the final few weeks of the season with the fan base pissed off and questioning, do they know what the hell they're doing over there on West 56th Street?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing right now. Everyone's just like confused and mad and unmotivated to continue rooting for the team. So, I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but my question going forward is, okay, we've got big questions around the quarterback. Okay, but like, what are some positives that are going on with the team right now that will keep fans motivated to root for some more wins this season and just keep them excited to watch them play?
The reality is, the only thing that's going to keep the fan base enticed in this season, there's two things. And Jay, please correct me if you disagree.
Okay.
There's only two things that are going to keep this fan base entertained with this team. Wins, obviously, because, if you win, people get excited. I think the fan base can handle this. They can handle it a little better if they're losing. But Anthony Richardson is the starting quarterback, and he is playing his ass off. I think those are the only two things that will keep the fan base enticed with this team.
No, I think there's a lot to that, too. And it's funny. The reason why Flacco was supposed to be in there is for the short-term level of success that this team simply has not qualified for in recent memory. And now it's even longer-term memory. So there's a lot, I think, of truth to that as well. It's just the way they're handling it. I said this at the outset, you would never see him again. And I don't even know how you plan on trying to sell this to anybody if he doesn't return and show something good. If he doesn't return and show signs that, hey, you know what they did was accurate. Mike, because the other part of this is nobody believes in the decisions they made or sound any longer. Everybody kind of shakes their head and says, yeah, this is just something else that isn't going to work out. because their point of reference is how many times in recent memory it hasn't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think the level of faith in this team and the leadership of this team, I don't want to count 2022 because I think we can all agree 2022 was a complete, utter diarrhea show by the Indianapolis Colts. But I believe the faith in this organization, this might be the lowest it's been. God, shoot, I can't even think. I mean, can you find a lower point for this organization as far as the faith for the fan base today?
Nah,
I mean, again,
because everything else always had a little bit of a hope tied to it. And even if you go back much longer than any of you guys remember, to the early years, the excitement and the freshness of having an NFL team in this market in general, even through those years where they won a game or through the years where they won 2 or 3 and, it was kind of consistent low level of football, it was still new, it was fresh, and people were digging it because of that. So, no, I think this is the time right now that we can look back on this as it being the lowest in which we've seen it.
That's sad. It is very disappointing that it is at that point for this organization to be like this, because where is the hope? Where's the optimism that this team can actually turn the corner? You think, all right, every year you think, okay, they've taken care of X, Y, and Z, so maybe this is the time that they're competing. That's just not – I just don't – I mean, even if Anthony Richardson comes in, I don't have a lot of faith that this team can make the playoffs, because this next stretch, and I know that I'm not a big Jets fan, but I like their defense. But you're looking at Buffalo. You're looking at Buffalo this week. Jets the following week. Thank God they flexed that game and moved it to 1 o'clock. And then you got the freaking Detroit Lions, who just picked up a pass rusher to go with. I think Dan Campbell is one of the best head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, I think this week is going to say a lot. I mean, last week, there's no denying that it was ugly with Flacco at the helm. And a lot of us, I think I speak for a lot of us, saying, hey, give him a chance. But after one game, kind of seeing what he can do this upcoming week, if it's more than just one game and it being ugly. And I think you're trying to be positive. I think I'm kind of been negative. I don't think that this is going to be, we're not going to turn around this season around.
Like, we're not going to find the
This
answer,
is going to be another year that we're building, I feel like. So, Mike, why are we rushing things, and why not let AR sit this one out for another year? He's still young at the end of the day, no matter what happens. I don't think his mind is there, I feel like. So my question is, why not just let him sit out, watch and learn?
Because they're not going to win. So if they're not going to win, what's the point of letting a 39-year-old guy quarterback this team? That's my biggest thing. If they're not going to win, let the kid go out there and get some more lumps, because I think we can all – I think at this point there's still questions on if Anthony Richardson is the guy. I think, they don't want to turn the table because he was number 4 overall pick in the draft in 2023, but there's questions on if he's really the guy, if he has the intangibles to lead. Because one thing Anthony Richardson has done in his football career, he has sat quite a bit, unfortunately, due to injuries. So if he's not injured, let the guy play. Because this Sunday, if the Colts fall behind early to Josh Allen and those Bills, the fan base is going to boo the hell out of that organization, and the boos are not going to be directed at the players. They're going to be the boos are going to be more directed toward head coach Shane Steichen, general manager Chris Ballard, and owner Jim Irsay. Those are where the boos are going to be directed at if the Colts fall behind by double digits early in this game on Sunday afternoon.
Mike Wells of ESPN Radio, back on the Brownsburg School District School Board for yet another term. Congratulations on Mike for that. I did want to mention this. When do you think that Richardson becomes professional enough for the Colts where he is deemed okay to go back in? Because this is what this is all about. It is all about how he was. It was so much more behind the scenes, and then obviously what was behind the scenes really bubbled up with the situation a couple of weeks ago when he took himself out. But when do you think that they are going to deem him worthy and professional enough to get back in the lineup to lead this team? Because honestly, that's what this whole damn thing is about right now.
Well, that's up to Anthony Richardson. I wish everybody wishes they had an answer for that. It's up to Anthony Richardson on when he wants to decide that he wants to grow up, be professional, do what it takes to be a starting quarterback for a team that can make the playoffs. Not just simply a starting quarterback. This is all up to him. If I'm him, my ass is living in the facility at least 16 hours a day, doing what it takes to have some pride. What he did was so it was so bad. It was such a horrible look to sit there and say, I'm too tired to play quarterback. I need to get out the game. That it was embarrassing for him. And he's got a lot of things to do to make up, to get back to that point, to being where the trust is there. You know, because I believe he's got to earn the trust of his teammates again, too.
Yeah, you can't be the last one in, the first one out. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this a couple of weeks back. I mean, ideally, even from his side of things, they would like him to be like we have seen Jaden Daniels with the Commanders as a rookie. You know, get in there early, get his stuff done, and then prepare with the team, 2 hours later. That's what they're looking for. That's even what his side's looking for right now. So I'm just kind of curious what the timetable might be for that, because to me, that is looming a lot more large as to why this has occurred than really anything else. So Lindsay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like that was definitely salt in the wound when what he said that was like made everything worse. But his play up until that point was
no, it's justifiable. It was justifiable to take him out.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. It was bad PR what he did, but I know my household, all the games leading up to that point, we were already mad before he said what he said in the locker room.
Well, let me say this. It was justifiable for them to take him out and pull the plug on him when they did, even if most people agree that wasn't the case, Mike, and you could follow me on this. But it was equally justifiable after the game that Flacco had on Sunday night. If you wanted to go ahead and go back to a guy, you could have been able to go back to the guy. There are other reasons as to why you're not doing that, and those are the reasons that I've talked about, Mike, for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Hey, I lost you. What was the last one you said?
No, it was justifiable to go back to Richardson after the game offensively that team had, that Flacco had on Sunday, but they didn't. They continued down that path with Flacco. Why? Because either they're completely done with him, moving forward with nobody believes, or it is still, hey, this guy has to live up to the expectations of being a number 4 overall selection and being one of the leaders of an organization at the most important position played in all of sports, across the sports landscape. And until he is that, or they deem him worthy of that, I think that's why, more than anything else, you're going to see Flacco.
Yeah, and honestly, the only way Joe Flacco should be the starting quarterback for the Colts right now is if he can go out and, go 20 or 25, 275, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. If he's going to turn the ball over and the offense is going to sputter, let Anthony Richardson have the offense sputter. And that's the only way Joe Flacco should be out there starting.
So Mike Wells of ESPN Radio's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Again, we're downtown at Kilroy's Bud Light Blue Friday with Gina and Lindsay. I am John. All right, IU tomorrow. What do you think? I know you're down there on campus often in Bloomington. I've never seen it. I've been there through the good times with the Mallory era and know how, I was in high school still, but it was pretty awesome down there, certainly to follow the football program. And up until this point, what its high watermark was, but this is a completely different level, completely different stratosphere. Michigan Mike coming in tomorrow, 3:30, CBS. You can catch the game. You can catch it right here as well. And by the way, Michigan's going to be without their star cornerback, Will Johnson. this week as they play IU. He hasn't played. I don't think he's played it since October the 19th. So with that lower body injury, one of their better defensive players will not be out there. And IU looking to remain unbeaten tomorrow. Really in a spot that even if you believe thoroughly in what Kurt Cignetti had to say before they played their first snap, has to be absolutely incredible to anybody. Even if you were a thorough believer back then, been an incredible run.
Listen, what I like about it, Cignetti, he just wants his boys to play football. I think the line's 14-point favorites.
Yeah.
People are questioning on how, if IU's the bid based off of the schedule so far. IU will win they will win by at least 20. Tomorrow will be the game where they go out and they truly smack Michigan. I know it's not the same Michigan of previous years, but they're going to smack Michigan, and then they get a bye before they get to prepare before they have to go to Columbus to take on the Buckeyes in 2 weeks. So the campus is buzzing. I mean, it is basketball season right now, and my students rather talk about football, IU football, before they talk about IU men's or women's basketball. I love it. I love it. It is a great conversation, man.
You got it. It's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. Congratulations on the new deal.
Yeah, congrats, Mike.
And back on the school board. Are you shaping shaping young minds over in Brownsburg? Is that what's happening? They're shaping the young minds?
I'm trying, and guess what? I'll be in the press box on Sunday. I got 5 IU students covering the game. I'm coming in. Our boy Hagan better be up in there because I need to talk trash to his face. I'm talking trash to all the media folks up in the press box on Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah. That's cool. You get to do that too. I'm glad the Colts allow that. That's pretty cool. But we'll see you up there. Go ahead.
I'll see you on Sunday, brother. And I just want to thank the Coach Spion staff for allowing these students a great opportunity that not many get to do.
That's pretty cool right there, man. It is. Thanks, Mike. It's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio right there. Ladies, what are we thinking here? Bud Light Blue Friday? Are you a breadstick eater at Kilroy's? You guys
Oh my
like
gosh,
the breadsticks?
yeah. They're probably going to be at my wedding.
Are they really? Good for you.
You know, the late night snack?
Yeah.
What's better than a Kilroy's breadstick?
Breadstick right here. Are we hungry? Do you guys want something out here?
We can order some breadsticks.
Now you're talking.
All right.
I was just going to say, I am curious. I know he was kind of limited in what he could say, but I do want to hear more about his gig that he just got.
Oh, the school board thing?
No, the
yeah. I think
it's kind of hush right now.
Yeah,
But
I thought you were talking about the school board thing. I have no idea why anybody would ever want to be on the school board. I have
but
no
with
idea.
ESPN, I want to see. But looking forward to hearing more from him.
I may just be damaged goods where I'm from. All anybody ever did was fight and complain and have an axe to grind every single term.
You got all these moms yelling at you.
No, that was what I couldn't ever cover. I wasn't good at covering politics.
Not politics.
That's why I love sports.
There you go. Lindsay and Gina, I'm John. Kilroy's downtown. Bud Light Blue Friday. Quick break, we'll come back. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Johnny, don't! David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Shout out to Mike Wells. Ooh, I like this song. The great Lane Staley at lead. Sounds like Allison Chains from 97 right here, James. That needs to play tomorrow out of the JMV takeover. Hey, James, where's this rank all-time Allison Chains catalog?
I'd say it's up there. I don't know if I would put it past things like Nutshell, but I definitely love this song.
Nutshell, I like that. How about Damn the River? What do you rank Damn the River?
That's a pretty good one, too, I can't lie.
Girls are here going, I have no idea what you two dorks are talking about. Well,
The only way I know
stuff.
Allison Chains is because remember that video game where you had the guitar?
Yeah.
And there was like old school songs.
Guitar
on there?
Hero?
Guitar Hero. That's the only reason I know half of these songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you play Allison Chains on Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the easy version.
It's Lindsay and Gina here with us. We're at Kilroy's downtown on a Bud Light Blue Friday. What was your favorite song to play on Guitar Hero?
Oh, I don't even know. I have to look back. There's so many. You're putting me on the spot.
No, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
I never got into Guitar Hero.
I have to look.
What'd you get into?
Man.
I saw that picture of you when you were 12, though.
Oh my gosh! And you're like, oh, let
I
me
do.
see that. I'm like, if you
Gotta have one.
tweet this
Gotta have
out,
a wallet
I'm
size
gonna
of
kill
that.
you. I played street hockey and video games.
I forgot. Everybody, we forget you played. You did play hockey,
Snowboard
didn't you?
Kids video games, Diddy Kong Racing, Sonic the Hedgehog, Pac-Man, and then street hockey.
Street hockey video game.
No, and then I played street hockey. We were on a cul-de-sac. My brother and I, we ruled. We were, what were we? Dove Drive. I forget our name. But yeah, that was my jam.
Why'd you quit hockey again?
The boys got too big.
Did they?
Yeah. I took I had the stick, I was going for the puck underneath the board, and I it went into my stomach. So that was one thing. It knocked me out. And then my coach, I got a couple bad checks, and then my coach, it was just a few things. I'm like, okay, boys are getting bigger, and I'm staying the same. So
Do you still like hockey as much as
I love hockey.
you watch it all the time?
No, I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. Thank you.
Look at that.
But no, I love hockey.
Okay, here's the songs.
Okay, go ahead.
The More Than a Feeling on Boston. I feel like that was like the song that everyone.
That's iconic for
That's
real.
my mom and my dad's song.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
Oh, that's what. And then the Take Me Out.
Yeah, that's
Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah. Take me out. What's that? Franz Ferdinand.
Franz Ferdinand.
Take me out.
right
Yeah,
there.
those are the two I remember playing a lot. And
Makes you good say, hey, by the way, the hockey player. There you go. How about that? That is from Ryan Beck, who does things with the Junior Fuel up in Fishers.
Yes, I
and
met
put my
him,
face on a hockey puck.
That is very
Yes,
cool.
it did.
oh,
Yeah.
I know. That's my mugshot from when I got arrested.
you're gonna have to get a new photo of the new and improved
The new and improved.
JMV.
Skinny mini JMV.
Skinny mini, yeah.
I know.
Improved.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
So, yeah, that's better than saying, you got to get that fat ass photo off this hockey puck right here. Get out.
Well, she didn't say like that.
I would never.
All right,
Guys,
go
look
ahead.
at these breadsticks.
I'm telling you.
Oh, boy.
Everybody knows about those. Hey, a little bit about IU Michigan coming up tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Did you guys go last weekend? Or no, I'm sorry.
No, we went to a basketball.
No,
we went to
basketball. That's
game.
what you were late for. I'm sorry. Did you go? What? They were at Michigan State last weekend, so it would have been 2 weekends ago. No.
I told the story.
Yeah, because you were late and they didn't go to dinner. Is why.
Underneath his breath. You know what? It's been a constant effort to get better with my time management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you're doing swell.
Starting tomorrow.
Shut up.
About 35 minutes late.
running late to a newscast.
You're swell.
I did say that.
Good job. Good job. IU Michigan tomorrow. Nobody going? There's big parties going on down there before
I would
3:30.
love to.
That is
I
a
would
prime
love to go.
time event
You know a guy,
to tailgate.
You know a guy?
I know everybody
I
down there.
know
That
you
is a
do.
sold out affair. The rest of the games
Yeah.
are sold out. I love it. I do.
I love it,
I think
too.
it is great
Michigan
for IU
has
football.
no chance.
Mike
Not this
Koenig
year.
was on this show. He's their center a couple of days ago. What an awesome dude right there. You can tell, man. I've talked to two of their players, Justice Ellison and Mike Koenig. And you can tell that Curt Cignetti rubs off on all these dudes. They all sound like him when they talk. I mean, they're all fun-loving, don't get me wrong, but they all have that single-minded focus.
Yes.
And, man, rarely do you see somebody have such a profound effect personality-wise that quickly on a group.
It's amazing.
Curt Cignetti
well,
is
if it works, it works. If that's the mindset that gives you win after win after win, that's what you have to do. And I've learned as a fantasy football player, the second you get cocky and start tweeting out things about, it's going to immediately
jinxing yourself.
It will immediately bite you in the behind.
Well, I mean, think about Galeros and the Flacco thing. He goes Flacco all week long, and then he goes out there.
You're right. That's
He
what I get.
looked every bit. He looked like he's 59 years old and not 39. And I like Joe Flacco a great deal, but that's just what it looked like on Sunday night. It's a collective effort. Don't get me wrong, but that's what it looked like.
I think we need to give him another chance.
Well, they are. They are.
I think it's going to a lot is going to. It'll be very eye-opening to see what he does this week.
The Buffalo.
Even though he made me look bad last week, I'm staying with my pick.
Do you mind if I ask a little bit? Do we have some time here real quick?
Yeah, we got a minute.
The college football rankings. So there was a little disagreement in the newsroom because they were ranked 8th, but they were slated in like the ninth place.
Right.
So can you kind of break down a little bit of why that is?
That's just how that's the
like
projection.
An AP poll versus a different poll.
Look at it like the NFL. Every time they wink, like every week, they have some big television event. This is college football's way of doing something like that. So I think they have 5 times where they do these projections, and that was the first one, and they got slided. They got slided from where they were ranked to where the committee in this case projected them. But the thing of it is, they could, honestly, you could lose one as long as it's not to Purdue. If you lose 2 out of the last 3, they should still, I would think, maybe not so much at home against Michigan. You need to but you could lose at Ohio State and still make it into the top 12, which is absolutely mind-blowing. But a cool situation to be in. But, that's not their mindset is to take care of the business in front of them, and that's what you would expect. But they get a week off next week, and they get Ohio State and Purdue to close out. But, man, the opportunity is there. But that's kind of how that works. So we'll see it, I think, maybe 4 more times, I think, is how many more times you'll see those predictions and projections, and people talk about them. And I think for the most part, everybody involved, the analysts all said that they thought if there was a team that got slotted overall, and that was IU. So, yeah, and it was expected. I think everybody probably expected them to get slotted.
Do you have to go to break?
No. You want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you hear James go break like he normally does yet? No, he didn't do it yet, so I think we're good.
Well, we could probably talk about this later on. It might be fake news or old news, but this is what I get for skimming Twitter today. What's this about Tom Brady and Curt Cignetti? Like, did he make a request to have Brady join the offensive line?
Well, I mean, Tom Brady, was there something between Michigan and Tom Brady and Curt Cignetti?
Because I saw a post that said Cignetti made.
This is Gina Glaros bringing up random posts from X right now.
My grandma.
That's good.
I should have vetted this before I asked this question. Okay, according to one source that
according to this Twitter bot.
Now I have
That's good.
He made a request to the president to bring on Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
The president of the country, the president of the university.
For what?
IU.
Oh, really?
To help him with coaching. Hold on, let me find
it. Cignetti does not need any help.
I have not seen that today, so yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't been looking for it, so. See, this would be the likely time where James would say, maybe you guys need to break.
What if I broke this news right now?
Well, somebody
or maybe
clearly
I just
did.
need to.
Who the hell do you follow on that thing to get that right there? So that is the latest. By the way, tomorrow, 3:30, I'd mentioned Gary Danielson was on the show of CBS on Wednesday. He and Brad Nessler and Jenny Dell have it on CBS tomorrow. Locally, that is CBS 4. We also have it for you right here. And Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, at the top of the hour, will get things rolling on the IU Radio Network coming up at 2:30, or I think it's the Care Source Radio Network? I think it is 2:30 tomorrow afternoon for the IU pregame. I think Herrick's going to be down here at some point, right? John Herrick, who's also a part of the IU Radio Network, is going to slide by here as well. But we'll talk to Don Fischer coming up at the top of the hour and what is going to be a very busy weekend. And we're going to continue that path down here at Kilroy's. This reminder, I want you to log on, MoyerFineJewelers.com. we're going to hand out to the overall winner of our Week 10 Pick'ems with Moyer Fine Jewelers a $1,000 gift certificate from Moyer Fine Jewelers. That's MoyerFineJewelers.com/JMV is where you go to get those picks fired up. And the overall winner gets a $1,000 gift certificate from Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel. You guys want to sign up for that too? I'd get in. Right?
I know that
Glarus is a huge Moyer Fine Jewelers fan. And Dan Moyer is
Shout out to Tyler, my buddy.
Hey, Dan Moyer is a tremendous listener to the show, so you wanted to get in their catalog, so we may be able to get you in that catalog.
She did mention her post-news career should be hand modeling.
Hand modeling. See, you can do a little hand modeling in their catalog for that right there. So
you could be an ear model, too,
Ooh,
like some fancy earrings, like the ones you got some fancy earrings on right now.
Yeah.
Dan Moyer, there's a shout-out. Gina's ready for that second career right there. Yeah, we're at Kilroy's downtown on a Bud Light Blue Friday. This reminder, Pacers Hornets coming up later on tonight here on The Fan. We got you covered. We will take you up to the pregame. 6:30 Pacer pregame tonight. 5:30 until 6:30 we go with Colts Happy Hour. And we got your chance at Bills Colts tickets here on this Bud Light Blue Friday. Thanks to our friends at Zinc and Don Fischer. A little over 20 minutes away with that big one in Bloomington coming up tomorrow with the Wolverines. Voice of the Hoosiers, top of the hour. My advice, don't go anywhere. It's Gina, Lindsay, and John on a Friday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. It is your good friend JMV here for the 100-plus locations of Big Red Liquors throughout the state of Indiana. Got you covered on the great deals for the weekend like you're going to find with our friends from Zinc and Bud Light. Good to go for whatever party, tailgate function you're going to have. Maybe it's a watch party. They're going to have you covered for that as well. A little Wild Turkey 101, $4 off, just $23.99 going on this weekend as well at Big Red Liquors. And also find out a little bit more about the Saturday stock up at Big Red Liquors. That is Hoosier Beer Day as well. Big Red Liquors Saturday stock up. That and for a location, the 100 plus in the state of Indiana near you, log on. That's bigredliquors.com today.
JMV.
Get him a body bag! Yeah! All right.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
You can check it out
Santana.
via the AAA Hoosier Motor Club Membership Lounge, YouTube Live. You've got Lindsay and you've got Gina right there, everybody. And you've got my right eyeball. So you guys think I have a really handsome right eyeball right there, don't I?
You can move a little closer.
It's been like your hands.
Has
You
it?
haven't noticed it as you're talking with your hands. Like every once in a while, you get like
I don't know what to do with
here.
my hands.
The best is the angle, though, and you look over and you're like, oh, that's cool. I have like a double chin for the last hour.
We put all that out there for everybody to see. Have you kind of scratched your nose or anything like that within the last hour? Because everybody sees it.
I know.
AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, and it may not represent to them a scratch. It may be a pick and not a scratch.
Oh, never. I'm
just saying.
That. like an Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
never live it down.
T. Shaw says, "Is Galeros drunk with that news? Are you drunk with that news?"
Okay.
You haven't even.
She did some research on where she thought she saw
you
it.
guys, fake news, I guess. I tried to find it. I cannot find it anywhere.
They pulled it.
This morning, I saw the post, and I was going to ask you about it, and I should have asked you about it before we came on the air, but
No,
I
it's a good
swear
idea to ask on the air. Yeah.
Just
Let's
live.
go.
But now, if my life depended on it, I
do
can't
it
find
live.
Well done right there. Let's see what we have. Tom Brady helping IU's offensive line is worse internet report than yeah.
He's coming out of
When
retirement. He's
Andy
on
Sweeney
broadcasting.
said Simone Biles was pregnant. What the hell's that about? Skivs? What?
Oh, gosh.
Sweebo.
Now we are just
Don't
putting all
mind
kinds
me.
of false.
Don't mind me.
Sweebo right
All right,
there.
moving along.
Hey,
I'll shut up.
by the way, James at 239-1070. Is Luke on here? I think Luke has something to what Gina had to say, right? Luke, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Luke,
Good, Luke.
help
Hey,
him out here. What do you got?
Gina,
Be
I'm
nice
gonna
to
help
me.
you out.
Be nice.
Gina, I'm going to help you out. You did see
Okay.
something that was posted. There's a kind of a satire Indiana website called Indiana Spirit.
Yes.
And they have been known to put out weird stuff.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
According to the Onion.
It said Tom Brady as an offensive analyst, and I thought, wow, here we go. So I wanted to read it myself, and I thought, this has got to be bull. You know what?
Luke, thank you for the
Thank
update.
you, Luke, for the reliable news.
Galeros is right on top of it with that.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to be
Do they
invited
give out
back.
Marconis for reporting news? No. What's the high awards for reporting news?
Emmys, Murrows.
Oh, Emmys.
Yeah.
Did you win an Emmy?
No, nominated.
Were you?
Never a winner, though.
You won an Emmy?
I've won an Emmy.
Have you really? Good for you. I haven't won it. Yeah, I have. I won Sportscaster of the Year in 2020. Ironically enough, the year where there was basically no sports.
During the pandemic.
2020.
Oh, my
Well, they
God.
go, we don't have anybody to give this to. Let's give it to this jackass. Is basically what they said.
I honestly,
So, yeah.
it's harder to cover sports when there are no sports. I mean, what do you do?
Oh, you should. I have talked everything. I went 4 months without any sports.
We were talking about Korean baseball online betting.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
even know
The
what we were
Last
watching.
Dance. The Last Dance with Michael Jordan was that ESPN autobiography, if you remember, that they moved up because of the pandemic
Oh, yeah.
from late fall to the spring that particular year of 2020. We talked a lot about that. It was crazy.
Well, you
Yeah.
always find something to talk about. I mean, you can go back in history and
Yeah.
there's so much. It's
Right.
like, what do you
Even
talk
if you,
about?
I mean, even if you have to make up news like I just
Yep.
did, for the record.
Well done.
For the record,
You know what?
the way
She
that
learned a lesson.
my sports reporting on radio, very different than my news reporting. It was vetted.
I think what will happen, though, you may help me win my first Spectrum Award so I can use it as a doorstop whenever I win it one of these days. I can't wait.
That is the Indiana Broadcasters Association's.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money, too.
Yeah,
to enter,
I was
to
always
go to the
excited to
dinner,
have
I'm
my
like,
work
oh
go to
my
Louisiana and have
goodness.
somebody figure out who's good and who isn't around here. So that's a good idea.
What is one of our
I'm not bitter.
photographers at
Can you tell
13?
I'm bitter?
No, never. Not you.
A little bit bitter. Doorstop. That's all I wanted for is a doorstop right there. All right, we got Don Fischer coming up at the top of the hour. Look, everybody in radio is now leaving now because I just said that. Go, hey, I can't be associated with this clown right here. We can't have it. Hey, before we get to Don, top of the hour, we got a break. But what we got going on this weekend? Other than the sports stuff, obviously IU, Michigan, got the Colts and Bills.
Yeah, so the big
Pacers
thing,
next Sunday too.
Downtown is the Monumental Marathon.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people coming into Indianapolis, a lot of people here in town who have been training forever, running the Monumental tomorrow morning. I feel like historically the weather's been terrible. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. So if you live anywhere from downtown to Broad Ripple, know that there's going to be some pretty big road closures because of that in the morning.
We have a Lindsay Monroe weather update coming up, too, in just a bit. So sit tight for that, and then Gina Glaros can share another fake story with us, hopefully, from the internet. We'll see if she can find one coming up on the other side. Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers. What an atmosphere it's going to be in Bloomington. We'll talk to Don about that and the start of the season with the IU basketball program as well. That's coming up next. Bud Light Blue Fridays downtown. Thank you for joining us at Kilroy's downtown. Our friends from Zinc are here, and your chance at Bills Colts tickets, too, on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back. Yes, this sounds like Metallica, everybody.
Sounds like Disturbed to
Look at
me.
Lindsay with the headbang.
You guys like Metallica? Have you seen Metallica before?
Yeah.
Not in concert,
Sad but true. That was one of the loudest shows I've ever been to in my life. It was in the Fieldhouse.
Ooh.
Metallica, except the opening act was louder than they were. It was called Lamb of God. And it was some wild stuff right there. James, a little bit about Lamb of God, because that's your thrash, like nutty-ass metal stuff right there.
Mellow.
Where all you dudes get together and run into one another.
Oh, yeah.
It's called mosh pitting.
Mosh pitting. Is that what it is?
It's really just
wears a
called
shirt,
moshing.
You guys
but-
run into one another.
It's called, I'm sorry, I'm old. Moshing.
Everybody's ponytails banging each other's eyeballs, shirtless.
Mosh. Mosh with an M.
All right. Lamb of God before we get to Don here. What do you got, James? What about them?
What about Lamb of God? I mean, they're just a really heavy death metal band that I really like.
Death metal, that's the genre I was trying
They
to
may
think
not
of.
technically be called death metal. There's, groove metal, thrash
Groove.
metal. There's a lot of different stuff.
Now you're getting too specific.
Hey, guys, I'm going to go see a band with Blake called Wooly, who's an EDM performer. Anybody ever heard of Wooly?
No, but I love EDM, so
Oh, yeah?
I'm in.
I'm going to see Wooly
The
next
problem
week.
with EDM shows is they go on at like midnight or like so late. There's just no way.
I need an update at JMV 1070. I need an update on Wooly, and then I'm supposed to go see somebody named John Summit, who's also a big EDM artist. John Summit.
so out of it.
I need an update of that. 2 weeks. We're going to go see Morrissey from the Smiths. I'm excited about that. John Herrick joins us, too, from 93 WIBC, the news director, and from the IU Radio Network.
Yes. Hello, sir. How are you?
I believe somebody you work with is going to join us right now. Is Don ready, James?
He's ready.
On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, I bet he is pleasantly surprised to know that somebody he works with during IU games, whether it's basketball or football, is with us right now. Don Fischer. Hello, Don. How are you?
Good, John. How you doing?
How about John Herrick on the scene here? You believe that? I'm going to get him good and drunk and hung over for you tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Not true, Don. Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to a word he says.
If he slurs his words tomorrow, blame me, Don. It's my fault.
Okay, I got it.
I'm just joking. Yeah, I'm just obviously just
We're all
joking.
responsible.
Yeah. So John is with us. The ladies are with us as well. Don, I was talking about this a little bit earlier, really all week long. I had Mike Koenig, the center, on the show on Wednesday, and it is amazing to me. This is something you brought up back in the summertime when we're kind of learning a little bit more about Curt Cignetti. These guys all end up sounding like him. The personality effect has so rubbed off on their guys. And you know what, Don? It's funny. When that normally happens, you get a high level of winning. It is interesting to see that dynamic in less than a year go on with the football program in Bloomington.
No, there's no question when you've got a guy like Cignetti who preaches certain things and he does it consistently every day, every practice, every play of every ball game. The mantra is the same. You know, play the next play. Never get too high. Never get too low. Fast, physical, relentless, poised, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you hear those mantras, and these players are saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And they have taken on the personality of this coach. There's no doubt in my mind about it. And I've seen that with other football teams as well. Bill Mallory's football teams, because Mallory was a tough, no-nonsense coach, and those teams all took on his personality. And you could tell it the very first year he was at Indiana, that team went 0-11. I'm talking about Mallory now. That team went 0-11. But you knew, based on what you were watching, that it was different. It was completely different. They just didn't have the talent that year. But you knew things were changing in a hurry. And that team took on that personality. And even though they didn't win a game, they were physically tough in every game that they played that season. So I've seen it before. And obviously, under Curt Cignetti, these guys are obviously buying in just like they did.
And it was the same thing with Justice Ellison when I talked to him about a month ago, because I kind of felt the same way. And historically speaking, you go back to like Dungy and the Colts. and obviously you got a quarterback in Peyton Manning being one, but it's, the personality effect, the calm, cool, collected approach across the board that they had. I mean, obviously they were reserved on the field in performance, but off the field, they're doing what they need to do to get everybody fired up. But it's amazing how those personality traits, especially with those stronger personalities, regardless of the angle in which it is, rub off.
Yeah, and like I said before, I just think that Curt Cignetti is a guy that has a system, a philosophy, a culture that he believes in, doesn't vary from it. And he has gotten these guys so quickly to buy into it. That's the most amazing thing to me, because you're sometimes going to have a coach that comes in and he is trying to change things very quickly, and guys don't buy in right away. But this guy came in here and immediately changed the whole complexion of how Indiana practiced, how they went about their business on the field. And everybody that bought in, they're out there right now giving Indiana an unbeaten season. And, man, it is fun to be a part of.
Don, what kind of mood was Coach Cignetti in last night for the coaches show?
He was a little bit different, a little more serious in some ways last night. I mean, but he was in a good mood. It was not a negative mood. The only problem was that he lost a bunch of information on his cell phone, notes and stuff, but he punched the wrong button or something, and it all went away. So he was a little unhappy at that point. But I think he was assured that they thought they could get it back. But he was a little nervous about that, to say the least.
Well, looking at the rest of the schedule for both Ohio State and IU, and Ohio State, I mean, besides the game against Indiana, they've got a pretty...
Whoa. Let's not even go there. Let's talk about Michigan, for heaven's sake. Good Lord.
It's going to end up in our favor. Trust me. So we already know that Ohio State has a loss.
Yeah, well, there you are.
They're going to get another loss when they play IU coming up on the 23rd. So looking ahead, I mean, honestly, I'm trying to just find, like, what are we challenged? I want to know how Indiana is going to be challenged.
Yeah, and Don is not somebody who's going to look ahead at that, but obviously with Michigan, the challenge coming tomorrow is the one at hand.
Yeah.
And I think what Lindsay's also talking about is, where the challenge more so from this team that's certainly drastically changed from a year ago, Don. Where does that challenge start? What's at the top of your list of things that impressed you about, even though it's not the same as a year ago, about what this team has accomplished in Michigan so far this season?
Well, I think the one thing about Michigan, and again, look, I understand people want to look ahead, and Michigan's only 5-4, and I get all that, but Michigan still has phenomenal players. They've got one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. This is a football team you cannot take lightly, and you can't look ahead. And I know I sound like a coach when I say those kinds of things, but that's really my mentality too. Why would you worry about Ohio State now? You've got a bye week after this ball game, and you've got to have all your attention focused on what Michigan's capable of. And no, let me just tell you something. You know how many times Indiana's beaten Michigan over the years that they've played? 10. And their program started 120-some years ago, and we've beaten them 10 times in all those years. They've won over 60 games against Indiana. I'm not looking past Michigan. I'm sorry.
So, voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fischer on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group. I don't think you looked past anybody, ever, regardless here.
Well, clearly that mentality's working.
Or football.
Yeah, 1-0, that's right.
Nothing like that. So, no, and Don, I would agree with you on that, too, because this is a part, and that goes back to what we were talking about with Curt Cignetti, because that is something that you have to instill in your players, because there's a lot of first-timers going through this, and you're getting a lot of love, a lot of adulation, a lot of pats on the back, and you've got to deal with that. And sometimes that can be a little bit more toxic if it's overwhelming than if you hear all that negativity if you're walking around campus.
Well, and look, there's no question that this team has accomplished things that Indiana has never accomplished before. Winning 9 straight games to start the season, 9 games in a row, 6 straight conference wins. There's no doubt this team has accomplished some really impressive things at this point. But you can't look past what this next team is going to bring to the table. And they've got talent. They've got some of the best defensive players in the Big Ten. I mean, Mason Graham is a guy everybody's been talking about for 2 years now. What a tremendous player he is inside, defensively. And they've got 2 or 3 other All-Americans on that side of the ball as well. This is a defense that can give Indiana some problems if Indiana doesn't play its best football. And that's the one thing you worry about most. Now, the one thing that Michigan struggled with this year, and despite the fact that they got so much talent on both sides of the ball, is the quarterback position. And that position's been up in the air all season. They've had to make changes on several occasions. They went back to the Warren Davis kid last week, or Davis Warren, and obviously that guy's going to start in this ball game against Indiana tomorrow. But they also have a guy named Orji, who's been quarterbacking some this year as a starter, and he's very good with the running game. So they've got packages for both of these guys, and it's going to be a challenge no matter what. I think Indiana, trust me, I believe in Indiana, and I believe they're going to win this ball game. But right now, you just got to worry about the ball game ahead of you at this juncture. I'm sorry, guys, I'm yelling at you when I'm trying to talk you out of talking about Ohio State, but it's just the way I feel.
I want to beat them all so bad.
Hit a nerve.
It's Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, with us. If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind a backpedaling last week, because when they got down 10-0, it didn't occur to me to freak out by any stretch of the imagination. But holy hell, Don, 47 points later, 47 straight on the road on Michigan State. What in this world? You could tell me all day that happened, and if you were to ask me years ago if I'd ever see that, I would have told you no.
Right. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, that's why, having done this for as long as I've done it, and having seen the outcomes of many of these games that people thought Indiana had a great opportunity to win a ball game against a really top-flight competitive team, and the next thing you know, we lay an egg bigger than a duck. So obviously, this is something special right now that we're going through, and I just want to enjoy it every game one at a time, and think about what the possible ability of accomplishments will take them to the next level. We'll see how it all plays out this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's easy for fans to have that thought process, like, oh my gosh, how long is this are we gonna be able to ride this high?
You look at what gives you anxiety.
Yeah, I just want it to last forever. Yeah. And I think it comes down to Don, Cignetti's whole coaching, the strategy, one day, one game at a time. I was just wondering, have you been able to, Don, talk to Kurt personally and just about this crazy ride?
No, well, I mean, we talk off microphone when we're at the shows and things like that, but we don't get into a lot of discussions about, what's ahead or anything like that. I mean, he is such a focused man. And he is really, really excited about this football team and how well they've played up to this point. But he says the warm and fuzzies and the rat poison people are out there patting you on the back with, that stuff is going to kill you if you don't knock it off and don't even think about it. You've got to really be prepared and focused on the next thing. And the next thing right now is Michigan. And that's why I'm talking like I am, because I've got to take it on his personality too.
Well, you were just kind of hanging out with him last night, so yeah, it would stand to reason. Less than 24 hours later, you'd have that particular mentality. So, Don, I had Gary Danielson on with me of CBS on Wednesday, and he said something interesting regarding Curtis Rourke. He said he oftentimes, like all these analysts do, they get tapes of quarterbacks sent to them, and they're asked about their advice on a particular player. And he got Rourke's, and he said immediately, this is a guy that can translate to the next level, or translate to the level. I forget who he was talking about. It wasn't necessarily IU, but it was just, I think, in general terms, how he felt he would translate to a big-time game, big-time atmosphere as a producer, and he was right about that. In a world of the transfer portal, we saw, Don, across the college landscape, so many ill-advised picks at the quarterback position that didn't go over well. This has been, even with that injury and being out for 1 week, has worked out smashingly for this football team in an era in which that's not all the time the case.
Well, Cignetti, of course, told me last night, and he actually told our whole audience on our talk show last night, that Curtis Rourke is just a great person on top of being a really good quarterback. And his calmness in the way he approaches things. There's no excitement to him. I mean, when I say that, I mean it's not that he's a boring kid or anything like that. He just has such a calmness about him. And I think that translates to the rest of the football team. And even when he struggled a little bit in those first two series last week against Michigan State, he was calm, cool, collected on the sideline, talked to his teammates, took blame for whatever he thought he might have done out there that wasn't quite what should have been done at that point. And, of course, he was dealing with that, either a brace or whatever the wrap was on his thumb, and that's the first time he played in a game outside of practice where he had an opportunity to see what he could do with it. And I'm sure he was adjusting to some degree. But he never panicked over anything. And after that first two series of the ball game, he just went to town. And his quarterbacking in that matchup was just sensational. But here's the other thing about him that I think is so important, and I think maybe it's his greatest attribute, because he is a great accurate thrower. He's got a great arm. He does all the things you want him to do, but the greatest asset that he has is ability to read the defense, coming out of a huddle, getting up to the line of scrimmage, looking and seeing what he sees, and then making the right decision about where to go with the football, if it's a pass play, or who to hand it off to if it's a run play. It's amazing to me how good he is at recognizing what he needs to do at that particular moment. That's unbelievable. That's an instinct that I think very few people have, and I know a lot of quarterbacks that don't have that instinct.
Yeah, Don, he gets the ball out so quick and precisely to all of his receivers. But I think you and I were a little wondering about the defense coming into this season, and the defense has also been a very pleasant surprise. I was reading that Mikhail Kamara is now in the top, 5 of Power 5 schools in terms of quarterback sacks and pressures. I mean, you and I call his name all the time. He's getting all over the field after these quarterbacks.
He is, and the whole defense, has, I think, shocked a lot of people. I mean, I thought that the defense might be the weak link of this football team, but I've completely changed my mind. And it's not that there's a weak link, because I don't think there really is with this ball club. I think that Cignetti and his coaching staff have done such a remarkable job with all every side of the football, both sides of the football. Obviously the special teams as well. They continue to make plays. There's so many good things happening, and it's because these guys are so well coached. And here's the other thing. They're talented. They got a ton of talent on this football team, and that all goes back to the coaches back in December getting into the transfer portal and picking the right guys and getting the guys that they thought character-wise could help this football team, as well as with a talent aspect. And I think that's why they're so sound on both sides of the football and in special teams as well. They've just got great young men, guys who have been there before, more experience than we would have had if they had not gone to the portal. And obviously that's been a big factor as well.
It's amazing. You look around the country, Don, where that didn't work out, at quarterback especially, but just in general. Picking and choosing in the transfer portal, it's one thing to get the excitement of somebody coming into your program, but, man, you got to make sure now more than ever that you get the right one, because if you don't, it could have catastrophic outcomes as far as your team, the position in which you bring in, and just the overall effect to your team. And we've seen that, I think, across the landscape in college football this season.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. And I think that's just an important factor no matter what sport you're talking about, especially in this day and age with the transfer portal, the NIL, and all those kinds of things. You better bring the right character type players into your program, because it can be, as much as it can be a positive thing for your program, it can also be a huge negative too, because if you get the wrong characters in there, it's not going to work. And obviously the team aspect of it goes haywire, and we've seen that with other ball clubs as well. So you've got to have the right people, and obviously Cignetti and his crew, the coaching staff I'm speaking of now, made a lot of really good choices.
So Don Fischer, voice of the Hoosiers, with us. Before we let you go here, as we're live at Kilroy's in a Bud Light Blue Friday, what'd you make of that opener the other night with IU and SIU Edwardsville? I know Eastern Illinois, you got them coming up on Sunday. A little short turnaround time for you from football to basketball. That should be fun. But that opener against Edwardsville the other night, what was your thoughts on what you saw?
Well, I thought it was pretty sloppy for Indiana, 16 turnovers. Obviously, Mike Woodson in our post-game show was not pleased. He said, I didn't think we played very well at all tonight. And the only guy he could possibly give real accolades to was Mackenzie Mbako, who went crazy with 31 points in that ball game, a new career high for him. But that guy is capable of that kind of ball game, and I'm not going to say night in and night out, but he's got the tools to be really special this year. He's always had an incredibly great-looking shot. He does, he's got great form. You just look like every time he goes up to shoot a shot that he's going to make it. And I think he's going to have some special times this year with this basketball team. But the rest of the ball club, I didn't think Miles Rice played his best. Obviously, I thought he played great against Tennessee in the exhibition game down there. But I haven't seen the same Miles Rice that I saw in that game in the last two, one exhibition game and then obviously the regular season opener. But I know Rice is just a sophomore. He's still learning the system, and he's still getting a lot of heat from Woodson, who gives his point guards probably the toughest time of anybody because he thinks the point guard is that important to the ball club. So at any rate, I think it was a good win for Indiana. I just didn't think they played that great, nor did Mike Woodson, and most of the people that were there, I think, probably felt the same way. And we know that they're capable of a lot more than that. So we'll see how it works out on Sunday because, this is very early in the season. It's so early that we really can't make any determinations at this point about how good this team is possibly going to be.
And when we mean early because that's an 11 a.m. pregame show for you coming up on Sunday morning. Noon is the tip against Eastern Illinois, all the way over from Charleston, Illinois. Eastern Illinois. It's coming up on Sunday with IU basketball.
And Marty Simmons coaches that team. If you remember Marty Simmons, those IU fans remember him back in the 80s, and then he went to Evansville after his first 2 years at IU. But I think Marty's a really good coach. He's taken over a bad program, and he's in his fourth year. This is his fourth season with that program. And they've gotten better since he's been there, but they're still a work in progress.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. And really, for a school that size, I mentioned this, and we watched it last year with Indiana State. You got about 1 year to do something because anybody that does anything for your team in that year is going to get poached, and you're going to be back to square one. So you got 1 year to soak that up and then find out what's further down the road for you in this era of NIL and transfer portal, Don, which we all love so much. We love it. We're in love with it. Although we'll say this, IU football fans have to be in love with it because it's worked out smashingly for them. No doubt.
Yeah, there's no question about that, John. As much as I hate the transfer portal and NIL period, I can tell you one thing right now. I wouldn't take this football team any other way than it is.
Don, it's tough to fathom how differently it would look if it didn't have the transfer portal and didn't have guys associated with Kurt Cignetti and James Madison, especially as a part of this. Cohesion equates to culture, and that is what has been, I think, the biggest product of your number one in Bloomington with Kurt Cignetti.
I was just going to say, all the T-shirts of Cignetti on Amazon, can Cignetti go anywhere at this point without?
He ain't going nowhere.
Being no. I mean, just being bombarded, running errands. I mean, I mean, can you imagine just what a celebrity he is around town?
He can't go to Yonkos at all, can he, Don? He can't do it.
The truth of the matter is that last night at the talk show, we were talking off microphone at one point. And I said, how's your day been? He says, well, it's been pretty good, except when I get out in public and I can't go anyplace because it takes me a half hour to go 5 minutes and walk away from here. He said, every time I go, I want to and all that kind of stuff. I said, welcome to the great time.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean,
Don,
is he running errands at this point?
Hey, Don, we'll catch you tomorrow at 2:30, right on?
Hey, you guys know that we got 487 votes for president?
I'm sorry, did you just hang up on Don right there? Hold on. Don't hang up on Don. I don't give a damn if we are late. Stop. Stop. Hold on 1 second, James. Stop that. I don't want to hang up on